I'm excited to announce that we're having our first ever mega sale on overstock clearance and brand new products. For example, save over 50% on this season's flannel sheets. Queen size only $59.98. Kings only $69.98. They sell out fast every year, so order now. Save 20% on our brand new My Crosses. They're designed in the likeness of the one I've worn every day for over 20 years. They come in men's and women's, and they're made right here in the USA. Get our 2025 six-piece My Towel sets for only $29.98. Our initial quantities are extremely low, so get them now before they go. And our best-selling standard My Pillows, just $14.98. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use this promo code to take advantage of our first ever mega sale. But wait, remember that $75 free shipping rule? Well, that ship is sailed because right now, every order ships absolutely free.
That's right. Absolutely free. Every order ships absolutely free at mypillow.com. Please support our platform and an America First company in MyPillow. Go to mypillow.com. Use promo code Oreo for substantial discounts and savings, along with free shipping, guys. Thank you for joining us. Josh here, Oreo Express. It is, what today? February 3rd, Monday, February 3rd. What a crazy day already, man. We got a lot of winning to talk about. This is our second show, so if you missed the first one, you want to probably tune back into that to hear about Mexico bowing to Donald Trump on the tariffs, and now we got more news, and I knew we would. I said it in the last show. There'll be a second show. The reason why I said that mainly because I knew there would be Canada doing the same thing, which we're going to get into and talk about. But I want to say thank you to all you guys tuning in out there. If you would hit that like button, share this out, guys. We're going to have a good afternoon here. It is 3:47 here on the left coast. Some of you back east are already eating dinner, I'm sure, getting some of the goodies. Let me turn this down really quick if I know how. There we go. But again, thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. There's just some crazy stuff we got to go over first. I found this was interesting. Joe Biden signs with talent agency CAA. There you have it. Joe Biden signs with talent agency CAA. I had to look into that and see what that was. Creative Artist Agency is an American talent and sports agency based in Los Angeles, California. Man, you would think, again, it's all about the money. You want to talk about greediness. These folks are greedy. It says, what does CAA do for artists? CAA delivers world-class opportunity to world-class clients, positioned at the nexus of talent, content, brands, technology, sports, and live events. It says CAA creates limitless opportunities for storytellers, trendsetters, icons, and thought leaders who shape popular culture. Oh, man. It's going to be a hard one to sell. It's going to be a hard one to sell. We are still dealing with, even though Donald Trump is destroying DEI, it's being destroyed. We even got an update on that with the Department of Education. There is some rumors today that Trump has signed in an executive order to abolish the Department of Education, but we can't get an exact confirmation from a trusted source, but we do have some reliable information that there was a lot of cutting done from any of the DEI areas of Department of Education. Frank Lutz, who I'm not a fan of, I've told you guys this before, not a conservative, been a anti-Trumper for quite a while now. He was on CNN, and he kind of tells the truth. And at the end, it's an edited video. So understand at the end, it does have a couple cuss words, but listen to what Frank tells the CNN panel here.
This group, I think I'm kind of afraid to be alone in this this group. I think I'm kind of afraid to be alone. And I surveyed these people. I focus grouped them. And they are really, really tired of being accused of either racism or sexism because they voted for Donald Trump. And it's one of the reasons why so many of them did. I sat on this stage with you and got chewed out when I suggested there's a better language to reach out to voters, that the Harris campaign is missing what they're looking for. And I say the same thing here. Americans just want to be Americans, not hyphenated Americans, not female Americans, Black Americans, Jewish Americans. They just want to be Americans.
How do you think it makes people feel?
Listen, he just said the division on race, the division on everything else. You guys are losing the battle here. Even some Americans voted for Trump just to spite people like you at CNN. And listen how she comes back. You can't make this up.
Black people, women, any person.
Instantly goes back to what he was just saying was the issue with the message they're delivering. Listen one more time.
Group. I think I'm kind of afraid to be alone. And I surveyed these people. I focus grouped them. And they are really, really tired of being accused of either racism or sexism because they voted for Donald Trump. And it's one of the reasons why so many of them did. I sat on this stage with you and got chewed out when I suggested there's a better language to reach out to voters, that the Harris campaign is missing what they're looking for. And I say the same thing here. Americans just want to be Americans, not hyphenated Americans, not female Americans, Black Americans, Jewish Americans. They just want to be Americans.
How do you think it makes people feel, Black people, women, any person who has immutable characteristics about themselves?
She goes and literally, I won't play the rest that has the cuss part. It wasn't from CNN show. I didn't know I could catch it in time. She literally goes and doubles down on exactly, and it's bad for the Democrat Party, which means it's good for Americans. That they are continuing to double down. I mean, didn't they just elect David Hogg as their vice chair? I think it was vice chair or vice co-chair or something at the DNC. And again, it's if we haven't seen it enough, if we don't already know, I mean, I do know liberals that I wouldn't call them the typical ones that we're giving a hard time to. People that believe in the Democrat Party, believe it's been hijacked, believe that there's still a path forward, that won't turn on MSNBC or CNN. They won't get their news from them. They consider them part of the problem, and they continue to double down. In other news, Fox News posted this. New York Attorney General Letitia James advises hospitals to ignore Trump's executive order about sex change procedures for minors. So this is, let me pull up this article here. Here we go. Let's see. New York Attorney General Letitia James warned hospitals on Monday not to follow President Donald Trump's directive to prohibit sex change procedures for minors, arguing that doing so would violate state law. It's kind of interesting. Federal law trumps state law. Federal law is the law of the land. Now, this is an executive order. Some could argue, well, that's not law. All I'm saying is, I think a lot of you guys have been told or have heard something, pick and choose your battles. This is the battle that Attorney General Letitia James wants to consider. This is a battle that she wants to fight, and it's going to be a losing battle. Multiple countries have banned sex change surgeries for minors, even much more liberal countries than the United States. And again, when you want to mutilate a child mutilation of their gender. And it should raise more awareness to folks, because again, not popular with even the Democrat Party. The people that are turning against the Democrat Party that have always been vote blue no matter who, this is one of their policies that they're like, nah, not the kids. Leave the kids alone. That, you know, they're not old enough to make a decision to buy a pack of cigarettes, but you're going to tell them they can make a decision at 11, 10 years old to remove their penis or something else. It says Trump's executive order, which was signed last week, was titled Protecting Children from Chemical and Surgical Mutilation. It aims to restrict chemical and surgical sex change procedures from minors. Across the country today, medical professionals are maiming and sterilizing a growing number of impressionable children under the radical and false claims that adults can change a child's sex through a series of irreversible medical interventions. You know, I'm hoping a lot of people go to jail and a lot of people do a hard time. I was thinking about this from a different context. At 10 years old, you could believe in Santa Claus. At 10 years old, there's probably a lot of things that you believe in that are not real world. And to have an adult tell a little boy, hey, you could be a girl. We could do this surgery. They have chemicals for you. We could do, and you'll be that girl that you want to be. I could not imagine once that child develops mentally enough to realize all they've done is destroy their life. They'll never be able to do anything a woman can. They'll never be able to give birth. They'll never be able to do anything the way God created a woman. We are created different. And I just think about that, and you wonder if, you know, there's a high suicide rate in people that have transitioned or mutilated themselves. You can't transition into anything. And I wonder how many of those people wake up or that slow realization, like, I'm still a boy. I just don't have a penis now. And it's really unfortunate. It's really unfortunate. And hopefully the Trump administration, we've seen them go after all these things so far, and it's only 2 weeks in. I think we're going to see a lot more. And then ABC News, again, because we're trying, fake news is working full time to stir up propaganda. It says White House Press Secretary Carolyn Leavitt told reporters Monday that Elon Musk is classified as a special government employee, but could not say if he passed a background check. I don't know how many of you guys know this. It doesn't take a lot of research. Maybe ABC could hire me. I would work for you if you allowed truthful news, not crap like this. But Elon Musk has a high security clearance. He works with some of the most volatile items, these spaceship, these rockets that are really large, explosive, and he does government work. He is contracted by our government. So he has a security clearance, and hopefully the government don't just give that out to anybody. I mean, we've seen 51 spies who lied that continued to have a security clearance even after they committed election interference and election fraud by lying to the American people when the Democrats told them that's what they need to do. But they're worried if Musk has a security clearance, a background check. Interesting. Maybe they should do their homework. Now, the great breaking news that happened right after we ended the show, I went in there, I got me a little snack. I was talking to Rachel, and I got my notification. Canada folds to Trump's demands. Canada will be implementing a $1.3 billion border plan. This ain't saying they're going to do it. Implementing is better than promising. Reinforcing the border with new choppers, technology, and personnel. They will also, again, we know fentanyl kills over 100,000 Americans in all different age groups here in the United States. Trump has met with many parents that children or loved ones have died from fentanyl and fentanyl poisoning. Fentanyl is not a drug. It is a poison. So it says they will also appoint a fentanyl czar, list cartels as terrorists, ensure 24/7 eyes on the border, launch a Canada-U.S. joint strike force to combat organized crime, fentanyl, and money laundering. Trump really wants to take it hard to the cartels. Cartels operate many things here in the United States. Believe it or not, we have people that work for the cartel that sell oranges in the Central Valley. That's part of their way to pay off the cartel debt. It says Trudeau has also signed a new intelligence directive on organized crime and fentanyl, and Canada will be backing it with $200 million. Tariffs will now be on pause for 30 days to give Canada a chance to implement these new plans. So they got 30 days to get their act together. After all the, we're going to play hardball with Trump. We knew this, you knew this, I knew this. The only people it seems that didn't know how this would turn out was Democrats. I think Democrats did know how this was going to turn out, and that's why they played fear-mongering. That's why they said, well, your avocado, who cares if Kelly died from fentanyl? Your avocado costs 17 cents more. Wouldn't you rather have cheaper avocados and dead Americans? That was Democrats' stance on this, literally. And so we played the videos since it's happened of Canada taking alcohol off the shelves from red states. They were trying to punish red states. And I told you this in the last show. Governor Greg Abbott said, hey, we'll impose our own tariffs on Canada. Our state economy is bigger than your whole country's economy. I thought that was hilarious. Here's Justin Trudeau. This was his post. I just had a good call with President Trump. Canada is implementing our $1.3 billion border plan, reinforcing the border with new choppers, technology, and personnel, and enhanced coordination with our American partners, and increased resources to stop the flow of fentanyl. Nearly 10,000 frontline personnel are and will be on protecting the border. In addition, Canada is making new commitments to appoint a fentanyl czar. We will list cartels as a terrorist organization, ensure 24/7 eyes on the border, launch a Canada-U.S. joint strike force to combat organized crime, fentanyl, and money laundering. I have also signed a new intelligence directive on organized crime and fentanyl, and we will be backing it with $200 million. So far, everything touched by Trump has worked out in America first, has worked out in our favor. This is one of those things that is just great to see. Trump's statement on this is Canada has agreed to ensure we have a secure northern border and finally end the deadly scourge of drugs like fentanyl that have been pouring into our country, killing hundreds of thousands of Americans while destroying their families and communities all across our country. Canada will implement their $1.3 billion border plan as per Prime Minister Trudeau. Will be reinforcing the border with new choppers, technology, and personnel, enhanced coordination with American partners, and increased resources to stop the flow of fentanyl. Nearly 10,000 frontline personnel are and will be working on protecting the border. In addition, Canada is making new commitments to appoint a fentanyl czar. We will list cartels as terrorists, blah, 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 everything that Trudeau just said. Now, this is bigger than I think people want to understand. By considering the cartel, who are Mexican cartels, by considering them terrorists, it actually gives leverage to the country that aids and abets those terrorists. So we're going to see a whole lot of new things. I don't think Mexico liked this too much. We don't know how far this is going to be taken, but there is some information. You know what? I'll bring it up now. I was saving it for later when we talk about the border. Breaking: U.S. Air Force intelligence aircraft has entered Mexican airspace after Mexico agreed to cooperate in fighting the cartels. This is practically unheard of. Pete Hegseth sent a warning to the cartel saying all options are on the table. President Trump demanded 100% operational control of the border, and Hegseth is delivering. That's a tweet from Nick Sortor. And here is the picture of that right there, how they are going into Mexican airspace. That doesn't, intelligence usually don't do that unless it's some type of joint operation. And again, it is very urgent for Trump. So when you talk about fentanyl and you talk about the lives it destroyed and how much it cost you, the taxpayer, whether it's healthcare, whether it's policing, whether it's crime, all those things go under the umbrella of drugs. The drug epidemic in this country, which again is allowed to be fueled by what we considered open borders and Mexico not doing anything. And again, we did report on over the last, I don't know, year or so where they were having truckloads of fentanyl come in through our northern border too. There's many places at the northern border that there is no guards there. Not even U.S. Border Patrol was there under President Biden. And so we are seeing a large amount of effort being put on trying to get America sober again, literally. And I'm hoping they can be very successful in this. If you've, I know, I don't think there's anybody watching the show who hasn't seen anybody that's not been affected by drugs in a major way. Again, we've taken you to a lot of Democrat cities where they allow open air drug use. They allow that. They actually have something that, what's the name they call it now? I can't even think about it, where they actually give folks the needles to do drugs. The little centers, what is it? Compassionate Care, but I can't remember the actual name. But they think by doing this that they're helping out. They're enabling these people. I mean, there's literally what they call safe injection sites. And so this is why Democrats are so upset with these agreements and so upset the fact that they knew they were going to be wrong when they said it's going to kill our economy. Trump promised you lower prices, and now avocados are going to go up 17 cents. What was it, Chucky Schumer? Your Corona Extra, Super Bowl Sunday next week, and the prices are going to skyrocket. These scare tactics, again, putting those above. And listen to our press secretary right here.
It's going to affect beer, okay? Most of it, Corona here, comes from Mexico.
It doesn't.
It's going to affect your guac, because what is guacamole made of? Avocados, both from Mexico. If you have pizza, it's going to affect the cost of cheese.
He doesn't want any pain at his Super Bowl party, Caroline. What do you have to say about that very interesting show and tell?
Well, this just proves that the Democrat Party is still incredibly out of touch with the American people, because while Chuck Schumer is whining about the cost of a pint of beer, President Trump is talking about saving American lives. And I would say to Chuck Schumer, what would you give? What price would you pay if your child was killed at the hands of an illegal immigrant who should have never made their way into this country in the first place? Or if your child died at the hands of illegal Chinese fentanyl that was trafficked through both our southern and northern borders? There are thousands of parents across this country who have felt that loss. There is no price that can bring their child back. And that's what President Trump is doing with these tariffs. He's making it very clear that he is going to put the American people's interests first, and he is going to protect our homeland. And Democrats can either get on board with that, or they can continue to lose elections as they did on November 5th.
Oh, you know what? I do think, I mean, there's times where I would travel that I thought the Americans, that a majority of Americans didn't understand what's going on. They had their head in the sand. And I still see it. I have friends with their head in the sand that think what I do is just like, oh, that's not going to make a difference. And when I tell them what's going on, they're like, that's not going on. And then I show them the video are the photos, especially with some of our videos at the southern border where we had thousands of people just marching into the United States. And they said, that's all lies. And I show it to them. They're like, they don't want to deal with it. Because if you know what's happening, you have to deal with it. When you go to bed at night, you have to, you're going to be awake those extra 30 minutes worrying. And if you're a good person, praying. Notice how I did that. Trigger you. And then we had the left come out. So we've had leftists rooting against Trump. They were rooting for Mexico. They were rooting for Canada. These are people that live in the United States of America, folks, rooting against America because their TDS is so strong. That mental illness, the same mental illness that is just as debilitating as thinking you're a boy when you're not, or thinking you're a woman and you're not, had them rooting, absolutely rooting against the United States. And I thought this was interesting. This propaganda pusher, Phil Williams, said, fact check, Canada has already announced his plan before Trump announced his tariffs. Had nothing to do with the plan. They didn't announce, just to give you an idea, they didn't announce a fentanyl czar. They didn't announce that there would be the extra personnel. They didn't announce a joint strike force task force with the United States. And they didn't announce that they would be considering the cartels a terrorist organization. They did mention that they would help out the northern border. However, they didn't implement that. Now they have 30 days to implement it. So just to give people like Phil Williams his due credit today for being a dumbass, we're going to go ahead and highlight him. So we've heard President Trump is considering dismantling the Department of Education. Democrats are outraged. Like, this just came out of left field. How many times did we come on this show, said Trump promised to send education back to the states? And I said, some states, it'll improve education. Others, like California, it'll make it more woke, more crappy. The good school districts will get worse because of California running those schools. Now they're acting like this is some surprise, even though Donald Trump himself campaigned on this. It's just like they're surprised about deportations when literally at the RNC, they handed out signs when Tom Homan was ready to speak that said mass deportations now. That's what the party ran on. That's what people voted for. Democrats just don't get it. But speaking of that, so there is word that Trump is signing or has signed in an executive order to dismantle the Department of Education. Before we go on really quick, we do have a raffle, guys. And I want to say thank you for everybody helping us out. We are extremely behind on getting the first of the month, the phone, the data, all that stuff taken care of. But we have I told you guys when we were out of town, we would have an inauguration package from there. And I just want to show you some of those items that are on there are some keepsakes from the inauguration that we bought while we were there. This is just a pin, an inauguration pin, 2025. Then we got the keychain. It's going to get good. The last thing I don't want to give you. Inauguration keychain 2025, so you could be part of history. This pin was being sold at the inauguration, so I figured let's pick it up. Fight, 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 Trump. And one other thing. See if you guys can see that. This is a coin. On one side, it says, evil triumphs when good men do nothing. And it says, Arizona 02, 118th Congress with the We the People. And the other side says Congressman Eli Crane, United States House of Representatives. Let me show you that. This is one of the coins. Now, I was given this coin by Eli Crane when he was out in front of the DC Gulag during our live stream. And I love it. I love it. Rachel's like, I was like, we got bills to pay. But if you guys want to get in on that, you guys can. donate. I would prefer not through Rumble because Rumble takes 30 days for the money to get here. We got bills coming up in the next 5-6 days. So if you guys want to enter, it's $10 per entry. You can do a $30 donation. That's 3 entries. We will be doing this on Friday from either here in the studio or wherever we're traveling at. You can go to Venmo at Oreo Josh, Cash App, $Oreo Army. Or givesendgo.com/Oreo 2024. And if you would like our Zelle link is on our website, theoreoexpress.com. And again, all our links are on there. But again, we will be doing this raffle. And I might add something to it. I'm thinking I'm missing some things that I was looking for that I think you guys would like. But again, if you guys want to help us out, we are 100% viewer funded. The lights, the camera, the action, the service is all because you guys bless us with that. So if you guys want to enter, please use Venmo at Oreo Josh, Cash App, $Oreo Army, or givesendgo.com/Oreo 2024. And I'm telling you, this is, I love this right here. This is from Rep. Eli Crane when he was out there fighting for the freedom of our pardoned J6ers. This just in, this was Libs of TikTok. Dozens of Department of Education employees have been placed on leave in connection with Trump's executive order to eliminate DEI. Today's Wall Street Journal reported that Trump is weighing a plan to dismantle the Department of Education. It's finally happening. So again, those that were involved in DEI, seems like those people that wanted all that wokeness in your children's school, all the pornography and all that, giving people something because of the color of their skin instead of their merit, those people have been eliminated or at least placed on leave. And that is great. That is great. So we'll have to see how that goes. So we were talking about it earlier and we wanted to follow up. Everybody was absolutely outraged on the left about the U.S. aid. U.S. aid is in the process of being dismantled. I didn't even realize over 10,000 employees that your tax dollars go to, and all these employees do is embezzle and give other countries our money. Listen to this really quick. Our press secretary came out once again handling the fake news media. Let me pull this up and refresh this right here. I think you guys will appreciate this, and then we're going to discuss this.
Over the past several years, these are some of the insane priorities that organization has been spending money on. $1.5 million to advance DEI in Serbia's workplaces, $70,000 for a production of a DEI musical in Ireland, $47,000 for a transgender opera in Colombia, $32,000 for a transgender comic book in Peru. I don't know about you, but as an American taxpayer, I don't want my dollars going towards this crap, and I know the American people don't either, and that's exactly what Elon Musk has been tasked by President Trump to do, to get the fraud, waste, and abuse out of our federal government. Thank you, guys.
Wow, let's listen to that again. Let's see where your tax dollars are going.
Spending money on $1.5 million to advance DEI in Serbia's workplaces.
Did you say million or billion? Hold on.
DEI in Serbia's workplaces. $1 million to advance
$1.5 million to advance DEI in Serbia's workplaces. That's not our responsibility. When you're struggling and when you're suffering in the United States, I don't care about Serbia DEI. I just don't. But Democrats do. Because again, this is the laundering, the money laundering they do. We got Mikey Ray in there for 2, says fight, fight, fight. Thank you, Mikey Ray. And then we did have, I think it was a Venmo. Let's see. Cash App. Rebecca is in for $10 on the raffle. Thank you, Rebecca. Let's see what else we got.
DEI in Serbia's workplaces. $70,000 for a production of a DEI musical in
$70,000 of your tax dollars through U.S. aid went to a DEI musical. This is what Democrats are defending right now. They held a press conference. They pulled an insurrection into the Reagan building where this department was. That was all today.
Ireland, $47,000 for a transgender opera in Colombia.
$47,000 for a transgender opera. Now, do you guys just think a little bit that this U.S. aid, what kind of rhetoric they're pushing, what their agenda is? Have you not figured it out yet?
$32,000 for a transgender comic book in Peru.
$32,000 for a transgender comic book in Peru. Do you think your money is being spent wisely, or is that your tax dollars? I consider it my tax dollars. And I elected Trump to appoint Elon into the Doge so that we would get rid of this wasteful spending and put America first. And now Democrats are panicking.
I don't know about you, but as an American taxpayer, I don't want my dollars going towards this crap. And I know the American people don't either. And
absolutely epic. She is doing a wonderful job. But $32,000 on a transgender comic book. I wonder if it was even a comic book. What if it identified as a paperback? I mean, think about it for a second. You know, those comic books, you know how they look. I'm not a big comic book fan, but I had them as a child. Interesting. It might have not been a comic book. It could have identified as something else. Could have identified as an encyclopedia. But we're not going to spend too much time on what it identified on. But I don't think the left spent that much. Here's some other stuff. U.S. aid grant 2024. Amount $1,999,900. Recipient Association Lambda. The purpose to strengthen trans-led organizations to deliver gender-affirming healthcare, advocate for improved quality access to service, provide economic empowerment opportunities, and the country is Guatemala. I'm sorry. These people in other countries should hate the United States. We have done everything we can to destroy other countries like Guatemala with a mental illness, pushing this with I mean, literally, there's ties to money in this, and pushing this mental illness that you could be something you're not. The people responsible for this have blood on their hands. They really do. All those people. Renee's in for Cash App for 5 entries. Thank you, Renee. Good luck. Thank you. What else did we have here? Did I go past 2 of them? USAID spends $40 billion of taxpayer dollars to fund foreign aid. $45 million to DEI scholarships in Burma, $520 million for consultant-driven ESG investments in Africa, and $1.2 billion in awards to undisclosed recipients. $1.2 billion undisclosed. I would love to be one of those. But again, these go to people that funnel that money back to the Democrat Party. They run the NGOs. USAID has awarded $969,821 to Stephen Leonelli of Washington, D.C. for supporting development, democracy, and innovative inclusive development hub programs protecting the human rights of lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, and intersex individuals. We told you this whole alphabet cult, this whole mafia was being utilized by the Democrats as, and again, more of your tax dollars right there. Jay Lynn's in raffle. 2 for Jay Lynn, 1 for Matt out there on Venmo. Thank you for getting into the raffle, Jay Lynn and Matt. I appreciate you. But again, Democrats hid behind, oh, these poor victims. It's just a man wanting to go in your little girl's locker room. And here they award money to those same people and to push the same propaganda and agenda. We're learning a lot here over the last 2 weeks. How about this? $125,000 a year for this guy to be senior LGBTQI plus director. It's going to sound
inclusive
like
development means that every individual. I am proud to launch USAID's first ever lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, and intersex inclusive development policy. The policy is a blueprint for USAID staff and partners around the world to champion LGBTQI+ inclusive development and the human rights of all LGBTQI+ people through our work. Inclusive development means that every individual and community of all diverse identities and experiences is instrumental in the transformation of their own societies. Inclusion matters because it leads to better development outcomes.
LGBTQI+ inclusive development is critical in ensuring USAID country programs benefit all populations and realize human rights.
In line with this approach, the LGBTQI+ inclusive development policy advances 4 goals. Lead through development diplomacy, drive evidence-based policies and approaches, accelerate locally led programming, and ensure USAID's crisis response is inclusive.
Australia's been
inclusive, guys. You got to be more inclusive. I'm inclusive of American citizens who are America first, and I don't want to be judged on what I do in my bedroom, and I don't think you should either. How about that? Since the start of Russia's invasion into Ukraine, USAID says it has provided more than $30 billion in direct budget support to the Ukrainian government, along with $2.6 billion in humanitarian assistance. Remember, we were thinking all this money was going, it was bad enough that our weapons, our ammunition, our fleet of, for our military was being sent over there. Then Biden signing one executive order or one funding order after another. But now USAID, it says it's provided more than $30 billion. There's other organizations like this. This is just the tip of the iceberg.
Federation started. And since the start of the invasion, as I mentioned, USAID says it has provided more than $30 billion in direct budget support to the Ukrainian government and an additional $2.6 billion in specific humanitarian assistance. Ukrainian Parliament Commissioner for Human Rights, Dmytro Lubinets, joins us now. Dmytro, it's good to see you. Thanks for joining us. As I mentioned, it's been almost 3 years. The United States and Europe have been supporting the Ukrainian government in many ways. USAID provides humanitarian direct financial support, not military assistance. How concerned are you or those around you about this pause in that assistance?
Thank you for having me. And from the beginning, I want to express my gratitude on behalf of Ukrainian people to American people for supporting Ukraine and Ukrainian.
Oh, the gravy train's over, bud. Again, they used every agency they could. This is nothing more than a scheme. Check this out. Senator Chuck Schumer just issues new warning regarding Doge that if Elon Musk is willing to dismantle USAID, that the Postal Service and IRS could be next. Postal Service, let's keep that around. But the IRS, ta-ta for now. I mean, that's music to Americans' ears. They just added, 88,000 employees under the Biden administration. And we covered last week on our podcast that over 90% of those audits that those IRS employees made went to people making less than $400,000 a year. Wasn't going after the big guy like Democrats want you to think. No, they're destroying lower income, middle income folks. I want to show you something. Chucky went off on a tyrant a little while ago. Let me see what it looks like now. How long have you been live? It's probably about right here. An unelected shadow government is conducting a hostile takeover of the federal government. Doge is not a real government agency. Doge has no authority to make spending decisions. Doge has no authority to shut programs down or to ignore federal law. He goes on. If the Treasury Secretary does not remove Doge's access to the Treasury payment system at once, Congress must act immediately. To President Trump and his billionaire buddies, $1,200 may be chump change. To most Americans, a $1,200 cost increase would be devastating. He's talking about tariffs here. He said a family would pay $1,200 or more because of Trump's tariff a year. We just went through 4 years where it was over $11,000 a year for a family of 4, almost $1,000 a month. And Chuck didn't have a problem with that. So Chuck can shove it up, you know what, where the sun don't shine. And again, quit playing politics. Here's another one on this. As crazy as this story sounds, this is from Robbie Starbuck. This is how he writes it. It appears to be true that foreign nationals applied and received COVID stimulus checks. A Treasury IG report found 309,601 payments for $423 million were issued to non-citizens, and 27,808 payment requests for $34 million came from a foreign address. Why do we want to eliminate these agencies? Why do we want Doge to be able to look through this paperwork? This is just crazy. And here it is. On May 1st, 2020, we sent an alert to the IRS detailing our identification of IEPs used to individuals who are likely not U.S. residents. We conducted our analysis based on reports by news media that individuals who were not U.S. residents were receiving IEPs. Our analysis of payments issued on May 21st, 2020 identified 300,000 payments totaling more than $423 million. They don't need to be audited. That is insane. Again, Americans last. We're still paying for that, and we're still going to be paying for that for a while. And other breaking news, Senator Susan Collins, who calls herself a Republican, far from a Republican, has announced she will be a yes on confirming Tulsi Gabbard. There's been a big push today to call senators to vote yes for Tulsi Gabbard and the rest, RFK Jr., and the rest of them. And this is one of those that I really feel is it is a win. Hopefully, we'll get all the rest of them on board. Again, they're scared right now. Also, California State Assembly is convening right now. Not for the high gas prices, not for the homeless crisis, not for the open air drug dealing, not for the crappy roads or conditions that we all face in California, not for our farmers not getting water, but for 2 bills aimed at taking on President Trump. The first bill will advocate $25 million for immigration-related services in the state with the goal of fighting against mass deportations. The second bill will allocate $25 million to the California Department of Justice to help California Attorney General Rob Bonta fund future lawsuits against Donald Trump. You can't make this stuff up. This is what it looks like. That's what those people are busy doing today. $25 million to protect illegals. Another $25 million to sue Trump and his administration. I hope it passes and Trump holds the money for Los Angeles hostage because of this. When you have a state actively going after somebody because he was voted to do something, and you're willing to spend I'm sitting right here in Central California. That's my tax dollars that are going to fund illegals, fund their attorneys, and fund lawsuits against our president. It is ridiculous, and it needs to end. Ashley Zavala was in there, and she goes, immigration funds. This was 19 minutes ago, passed on another party line vote. And of course, this is SB2 from the groomer and pedophile Scott Wiener. And look at that. Everybody that was Republican voted down. And you could see we have a major majority of Democrats. And we wonder, how does California burn down? How is there so much homeless? Because the people here, and there's a lot of retards in this state that don't look at the truth and literally vote on wokeness instead of what's better for themselves and their community. They're responsible for that. So SB2 passes, yay 58, no 17. Just in, California lawmakers in the Assembly, Newsom to bolster state legal defense, SB 1. SB 1, again, same vote, same exact vote. So both of those passed. They started debating 2 hours ago on that, and Republicans came up and said, this is ridiculous. Let's put American citizens first. Nah. Now check this out. Pete Hegseth out there at the border with Tom Homan. They are not playing around, guys.
Out of our
Let's take a
country?
look.
An update on whether you will detain migrants or deportees on military bases, and can you give us an update on that and how you'll pay for it?
Any assets necessary at the Defense Department to support the expulsion and detention of those illegally are on the table, to include, as it's been widely reported, Guantanamo Bay, a naval station I spent a year at as a guard back in 2004, 2005. I know that terrain very well. It's the perfect place to provide for migrants who are traveling out of our country through gray tails or other assets, but also hardened criminals. Where are you going to put Tren de Aragua before you send them all the way back? How about a maximum security prison at Guantanamo Bay, where we have the space? So where we have the assets that can support those doing the intervention and arrest, we will provide that, because as Tom said, border security is national security. And that includes assets that only the Defense Department has.
And let's remember, we've had a migrant processing center there for decades. So we've held aliens there before, and we're going to hold them again. This time, we're going to hold the worst of the worst.
I mean, the Clinton administration had tens of thousands of migrants at Guantanamo Bay. It's been
again more good. News won't report that Bill Clinton had those there, but that's just excellent to hear. You guys remember when we went to San Antonio, where we went to the Catholic Charities NGO that was funded by your tax dollars, the city of San Antonio? Well, the San Antonio mayor, Ron Nierenberg, put this post out today. And again, this is what we call winning. Take a look. Since January 2021, San Antonio has assisted over 640,000 asylum seekers who were en route to their final destinations and our asylum court hearing. I want to thank the residents of San Antonio, Catholic Charities, the San Antonio Food Bank, the Interfaith Welcome Coalition, first responders, and all our city employees who address the influx of migrants with diligence and compassion. Though this crisis has been a result of decades of neglect at the federal level, we should be proud our local response. Our 3 priorities with the Migrant Resource Center were to promote public safety, maintain order, and treat people humanely. Circumstances surrounding both asylum claims and border entries have yielded a drastic reduction in the number of asylum seekers arriving at MRC. Says we continue to seek federal reimbursement for over $12 million, and in consultation with our partner agencies, we have began to phase out the operations at MRC. San Antonio remains a compassionate community, which will continue to work with our partner agencies to meet additional migrants' arrival with care. I love how he contradicted himself. So that center where we were at in San Antonio, Texas, being shut down, and I love how he said this. He says, where'd it go? Though this crisis has been a result of decades of neglect. Decades of neglect is what he says the reason why they have had the center. And then he says circumstances surrounding both asylum claims and border entries have yielded a drastic reduction in the number of asylum seekers arriving at the MRC. So he just contradicted ourselves. We have federal law on the books. This guy is trash. He's a liar. He is an America Last mayor. And he's trying to cover, and I hope he don't get a dime of his $12 million that he's looking for reimbursement for from the federal government, because that's your tax dollars that we're paying to facilitate this. We went there. We also drove you down the street and showed you all the homeless sleeping under bridges that weren't getting meals, that weren't getting San Antonio police protection, that were out in the cold, that were out in the hot. But those were American citizens, and the San Antonio mayor could have cared less about them. It's absolutely ridiculous. With more ridiculousness, Massachusetts State Senator Jamie Eldridge has introduced Bill SD 369, which would give non-citizens the right to vote in municipal elections. Here's this scumbag, traitor that needs to be arrested. And here you go. Notwithstanding the provisions of Section 1 of Chapter 51 of any other general or special law to the contrary, for as long as the non-citizen voter remains a resident of the town which the non-citizen voter has registered to vote, the non-citizen voter may exercise the non-citizen voting rights. You don't have no rights, sweetheart. I'm sorry. And they're going to learn the hard way. They're going to learn the hard way. They're doubling down. And just so you guys want, Mexico promised to work a little harder. Mexican authorities have captured and detained the leader of the Cartel del Noreste, El Ricky. El Ricky, there you go there. Again, and that don't slow anything down. The cartel, the operation, just like when El Chapo or anybody else gets behind bars, it gets distributed, spread out. Here was another one. An illegal migrant who is a suspect of a violent rape was just arrested in Seattle during an ICE operation. He was captured while working in a restaurant kitchen. This joint operation was conducted by DEA Seattle, ICE, and the Department of Homeland Security. So these people, this is beautiful stuff. Get him out of this country, guys. I don't care if he's working in a kitchen or not. Now there is one job opening in Seattle for somebody who works in a kitchen, an American citizen. What else do we got here? Got a couple more for you. CBP posted this about an hour ago. As part of our ongoing enforcement efforts to safeguard our nation, reparations flights to India, Mexico, and Honduras are underway, returning illegal aliens to their home countries. Promises made, promises kept, right, folks? Again, guys, don't forget, before we sign off today, there is a raffle. It will be done on Friday. If you want to get in now. Every $10 you donate. So if you donate 20, that's 2 entries. You can donate at Venmo at Oreo Josh, Cash App, $Oreo Army, givesendgo.com/Oreo 2024, or you can go to our website, theoreoexpress.com. You scroll down, there's a donate now button with a Zelle link as well if you use Zelle. And again, we will be doing that live just like the last ones we've done. It's going to be some swag from DC, some souvenirs from Donald Trump's inauguration, an inauguration 2025 keychain, a pin here as well. And the big one here, and I will add something, I don't know what else, but this one I think is probably we've had some great raffles. This right here, check out this coin. This was handed to me by Eli Crane when I talked to him January 21st outside the DC Gulag when Washington was playing hostages with our J6 heroes. And when I talked to him, he handed me this. It's on live stream, actually. But this says, "Evil triumphs when good men do nothing." And it says 118th Congress. It has the "We the People" up there. And then it says Arizona 02. And then on the back, it says Congressman Eli Crane, United States House of Representatives. So this coin here, that's the big getter. If you guys want a chance to win that and have a little bit of history from the inauguration and the Gulag, you can go to Venmo at Oreo Josh, Cash App, $Oreo Army, or head over to our website, theoreoexpress.com. I want to thank you all for being here, sharing this out. If you haven't hit the like button, please hit the like button. We're around tonight. We might sneak off somewhere, but we might go live there as well. But if not, we will see you tomorrow. If anything goes breaking, you can always count on us. So I want to say thank you guys. God bless you and have a wonderful Monday evening.
I'm excited to announce that we're having our first ever mega sale on overstock clearance and brand new products. For example, save over 50% on this season's flannel sheets. Queen size only $59.98. Kings only $69.98. They sell out fast every year, so order now. Save 20% on our brand new My Crosses. They're designed in the likeness of the one I've worn every day for over 20 years. They come in men's and women's, and they're made right here in the USA. Get our 2025 six-piece My Towel sets for only $29.98. Our initial quantities are extremely low, so get them now before they go. And our best-selling standard My Pillows, just $14.98. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use this promo code to take advantage of our first ever mega sale. But wait, remember that $75 free shipping rule? Well, that ship is sailed because right now, every order ships absolutely free.